I'd love to share a short meditation practice with you. So aware of all the weather that's happening outside, the external stuff that's stirring us with this social isolation, and also just the unknown. So I'd love to invite you to step back inside the land of you with a guided meditation, and to find a place inside that's whole and steady and that's familiar, that we can recognize again. So you might want to pause the video just to gather cushions or to change position. Find somewhere where you can feel really comfortable, maybe where you won't be disturbed. You may choose to lay down for the practice or kneel. You don't have to sit on the floor. So finding somewhere really comfortable and somewhere where you feel warm. You might even want a blanket around your shoulders. It's really worth taking that time, because then you're less likely to be distracted by discomfort. So now finding your seat, taking your awareness particularly to the points of contact between your body and its support, whether that's the ground or a chair or a cushion. And really dive into that place where you are supported. So it might be buttocks on chair, limbs on floor. All those meeting points between your body and its support. Notice the sense of the body pressing down, anchoring. And then taking your awareness to the tailbone and base of the spine, and slowly, gently walking your awareness up the vertebrae all the way to the back of the crown of the head. Almost as if we're floating up a little, we're lifting and opening. Not lifting so much that we become rigid, so if you have lifted tall, maybe soften back a bit. So we have a sense of dignified awakeness and openness. And notice where your hands and arms rest. It may be on your knees or your thighs, or maybe in your lap. Finding what feels most comfortable for you. And then become aware of the whole body. The whole body still and steady. Aware of the front of the body and the back of the body. Above and beneath you. Aware of the space to the sides of you. Really feeling that space. Aware of the space in front of you and behind you. And feeling into that space too. And then going inside the land of the body and feeling the space within you, within your head, neck, your shoulders, chest and tummy, and space in your arms, wrists and hands, and space in your pelvis, thighs and lower legs, feet and toes. And aware of the whole body, sitting and steady. And now move your awareness to notice any sounds that are heard by your ears. Sounds that come to you, maybe from outside in the distance, or sounds inside the room. And allowing these sounds to be experienced just as sensation, so not labeling them, not having an opinion about them, just letting them be a backdrop to your practice. Noticing sound as sound, maybe pitch, tone, the length of sound, the volume. Notice how some sounds come and go. Some linger a while. And become aware also of the space between sounds. The silence in between. And you might find sooner rather than later that your mind has actually let go of the focus on sound and is thinking, maybe planning, perhaps worrying, maybe there's an emotion there. Whatever it is, there's nothing that we need to do with that. We don't need to finish the thought or fix it. In this practice, we are simply learning to let it go and return to what we were focusing on, which was, in this case, sound. And we might find again and again that the mind goes off, a little bit like a naughty puppy that keeps running away. And as soon as you notice, let's treat that busy mind with a gentleness and a kindness, that it's not made a mistake. It's simply learning to return back to this moment in the body. returning to notice the next sound that comes along. And now letting go of sound and become aware of your breath, of your body breathing you. Not needing in that moment to take control of the breath or feel that you need to breathe in any particular way. But as best you can, step back from harnessing the breath and notice the breath breathing you all by itself. The coming and the going of the breath. You might notice this at the tip of the nose, the cool touch of the breath across the lining of the nostrils as the breath flows in and the breath flows out. Or you might feel this in the chest, the rib cage lifting and expanding in all directions to receive the breath, and then softening back to let go and release and soften. This ebb and flow of the breath. Or you may experience the movement of your breath in your tummy as the belly rises with the in-breath and softens back with the out-breath. So finding where you most clearly can feel the sensation of the breath. The breath moving in and the breath moving out. And if your mind has wandered off from the breath, just inwardly smiling and gently bringing your awareness back to the movement of the breath. This body sitting or laying here, aware of the breath. You may find it helpful to say to yourself, breath flowing in, breath flowing out. Breath flowing in, breath flowing out. So this awareness that is noticing the breath is very gentle and soft. So we're not focusing on the breath as if we're doing some really difficult equation. We're focusing on the breath as if we were trying to catch a feather that's floating to the ground. light and easy. It doesn't matter how many times your mind wanders off from the breath. The reason meditation is called a practice is this is the practice. Noticing, acknowledging that the mind wandered, and simply returning to the breath is the practice. Each time we notice is a moment of mindfulness. Each time we return, we're developing new neural pathways, new ways of being in this moment. So becoming aware of this whole body breathing, this whole body sitting here connected with the ground, and the space around you. The sounds, the scent of the room. And your body resting here, meeting itself. Noticing how you feel right now, having taken time to pause and go inside. Notice how there's nothing missing right now. You're whole and complete. And you are enough, just as you are. And as we move towards the end of this practice, if your eyes were closed, just gently opening them, becoming aware of the space around you. Maybe beginning to bring in a little bit of movement. You might want to have a stretch. You might want to have a twist. Just really listening to your body and what it most needs. And then congratulating yourself on giving yourself this piece of nourishment. To know that there's somewhere where you can go. Where there's nothing to solve. When we pause long enough to stop trying to figure anything out, there's nothing left to figure out. Thank you for sharing this practice with me. I wish you well. Stay safe. Thank you. Namaste.